what's your secret? You got the kind of vibe that leaves one speechless. It could be model multitasking genius. Yeah, you got it all.
All right, today I'm honored to introduce a leader whose life and work exemplifies resilience, advocacy, and transformation. Meet Noura Ghazi, a Syrian-born human rights lawyer, a poet, and co-founder and executive director of NoPhotoZone, a global NGO that provides legal aid, psychosocial support, and women-centered capacity building for families of detainees and disappeared. Wow, I'm so honored. And through NoPhotoZone, Noura has helped empower families across borders, turning grief into collective action and hope. She also co-founded Families for Freedom, the first women-led family association in Syria, uniting hundreds of women demanding answers for their missing loved ones. Her courage and advocacy have been recognized worldwide by Amnesty International, Francis Marianne Initiative, and global policy institutions. And yet, behind the recognition is a deeply personal story. The love and loss of her first husband, I'm going to pronounce the name as best as I can, Bassel Khartabil, a free speech advocate executed in 2015. From that pain, Noura found her voice and her mission. And today, she also honors resilience in a new chapter of life, having remarried just 4 or 5 months ago now, celebrating a love story built on respect, support, and shared commitment to her cause. Noura's journey reminds us that leadership born from heartbreak can inspire movements and change lives. Welcome, Noura Ghazi. This isn't a normal guest I have here. This is truly someone special, and I'm just so excited that our audience gets to hear the work you do, the journey you've been on, and the passion and mission that you portray. So I really, really appreciate us finding one another and connecting and having this opportunity to talk to you today, Noura. So welcome.
Thank you very much, Rhoda. Thank you for having me and for this very nice introduction.
Yes. Noura, your journey is one of both resilience and impact. For those new to your story, how do you describe who you are as a leader and what drives your courage today?
Okay, so for the first part of the question, first of all, I want really people who are listening and watching to know that it wasn't a plan for me to become a leader. It was like the circumstances that I was born, grow up, and lived in. So I was resisting what is happening for me. In the same time, I was trying to help other people who are in the same situation like me. So I knew that, okay, my character should have this kind of leadership because I'm making an impact. Okay, it started unconsciously, but then I realized that I am doing this. So I felt responsibility, and all the time I feel, okay, I'm inspired by my history, by my personal background since I was a child, but also I'm inspired with the great people, I will not say victims, people who are affected by violations, especially women, who are already like more vulnerable in our community. I'm very inspired by them. So this is the greatest motive I have to continue.
Yes, beautifully said. So beautiful. You didn't plan this, but given your circumstances, you were inspired to create this movement. Nor when I did my research on you, I learned that your father's activism and early experiences shaped your path. How did those influences prepare you for the work you do now through NoPhotoZone?
First of all, because of my father's detention, especially the last time, I was only 13 when I decided to become a human rights lawyer. And actually, when I reached the age to enter university, I wanted to be an actress. I wanted to study acting. Then I I thought that, okay, but I gave this promise, so I should be committed to it. So I'm stuck in this career for more than 20 years now just because I was angry and I said this word and I'm doing it now. But of course, it's not a kind of like I'm enjoying doing it because it's really tough, very emotional, and like not easy. It's not like other work, but it's the right place for me. And I always feel sometimes like I'm really grateful because I lived all of this, and I was very inspired by those women, wives, and mothers who used to visit their beloved husbands and sons. I was seeing my mother and other women who are raising up children like me and my sister alone, and also doing all this commitment and resilience for the cause that their husbands were detained for. So this is, let's say, my first school, I will call it, this community of women who have their beloved ones behind bars because of their commitment to their country.
That's so powerful. That's so powerful. I'm very interested also to know more about the name of your organization, No Photo Zone. It's very powerful and symbolic, I'm sure. Can you share the story behind the name and what it represents for you and the families you serve?
When people read No Photo Zone, they think it's something related to movies, art, somehow, because the name is a little artistic. But actually, it's very symbolic, as you mentioned. So No Photo Zone was a project between my late husband, Bassel, and me before he was detained. And he chose the name. He chose even the logo. So when he chose the name, I wasn't really agreeing with him because no, I want like name like very direct. But as I founded No Photo Zone after Bassel was executed, so I stayed like I kept the name that he chose. So basically, we provide direct legal assistance, legal empowerment for detainees and families of missing and disappeared who are mostly women, beside rehabilitation for victims of torture and advocacy. So our focus is disappeared and detainees. So those people, they live in detention centers that there is no one or no cameras show what is happening with them, what the suffering they live in. So we mean by No Photo Zone is detention centers, especially the unofficial detention centers, and it's famous in Syria. Like internationally, everyone knows what does it mean to have detention center in Syria. So by this name, we aim to be the eyes or the cameras that show what is happening in those places.
Yes, so powerful. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. You know, let's talk a little bit about women and courage and leadership. So many know the story of your first husband, Bassel, and how you transformed profound loss into leadership. How did you channel grief into action and advocacy?
The most difficult actually is grieving because like for 10 years I didn't have any like improvement like documents until recently, like just a few days ago. I had an official detailed information and I had a video. I made a video to tell people and to start a new journey, a new battle to get those perpetrators to accountability and to achieve justice, not only for Bassel or for myself, but for those hundreds of thousands of families also. So as you don't have the closure, so you really don't grieve. So the only way, because it's not my only situation, there is like almost most of countries and people suffered from the same violations. So by turning it into advocacy into like just expression, how I feel, what should I do, what I'm doing as a person and as a lawyer, because there is no separation between my personal and professional life.
Right.
It became a very effective advocacy, actually, because it's a feeling, but also it's an action, not only a feeling.
Right. Yes. Put action behind the feeling. Yes. I know you recently remarried and you described this new chapter as a testament to resilience and to be into the respect and support of your husband. How does this part of your story influence the way you lead and live your mission today?
Actually, it was a very challenging for me because, first of all, I had no decision to get married again. And also, I couldn't fall in love again until I fell in love with my husband.
Right.
And he, like, the first time he didn't know it's me. Just the day after, he knew that it's me. So he's very familiar of my story and Bassel's story, and he's a big fan also. So we reached this moment that we decided to get married, and we got married. It was very fast, actually. So I felt, okay, it would be very respectful for Bassel and for my husband now, Mahmoud, and for the public opinion to announce about this. And I was surprised with the reaction. Like, people told me that, you know what you are doing, you inspire us again. And you are expressing the resilience too much, like falling in love. It's a human right.
Yes.
For all women, even if they still search the fate of their late husbands. But okay, it's a cause now. It's a memory that will live with us forever.
Yes.
But we are human beings and we deserve love.
Right. What better way to honor the work that you do? So women leaders often face unique challenges, particularly in law and human rights. What has it meant to navigate this space as a woman and specifically as a human rights attorney, female human rights attorney?
It's not easy, especially like I'm from Syria, so in Middle East there is like we haven't really reached this kind of like taking gender issues into consideration. We face like double challenges because we are women, but in the same time it's a privilege. Like, because the area of the work that I'm doing is like detention and forcible disappearance, that the direct victims are men. So women who are left alone. So I'm a woman. So I'm like the best person and the human rights defenders to represent the suffering of those women. And also, as I do believe that I would not say women are more emotional than men, but I would say that women can show their emotions. They have the capacity to show their emotions more than men. And when we talk about the human rights violations, it's not only like breaking the law, but it's a kind of emotionally harm. Emotionally, we have like this kind of scars and wound. So I think it's the best place for women.
Yes. What better species to represent and advocate for women, to the point that you just stated, we can resonate and connect with them because we are them. And I love that you shared that, because that's a thing, is that it's believed that women are more emotional than men. It's not that we're more emotional, it's just that we are more open to sharing our emotions. Yes, beautifully said. I know you've also helped build families for freedom. How do these movements complement each other? NoPhotoZone and Families for Freedom, and serving the families or detainees.
When I founded, I'm a co-founder actually of Families for Freedom. I was inspired by a lot of like victims and families association in the world, such as the Saturday Mothers in Turkey, the Mothers of Plaza del Mayo in Argentina, the Family Association in Lebanon, the Mothers of Srebrenica in Bosnia. So I have this idea for almost 2 years before founding Families for Freedom. And then we had the chance at the beginning, we wanted it to be like just a kind of, let's say, advocacy participation in such event. Then we thought, okay, let's do it as something will last. And then like other people was inspired to establish another victim or families associations or survivors associations. And like after now almost like 8 years of establishing it, like those associations played a very important actually and essential role. Like I'm no longer in Families for Freedom. Families for Freedom focus on advocacy, and in NoPhotoZone we focus on providing direct services for victims. But of course, like all of these complete each other. And also we in NoPhotoZone we support the grassroots groups, especially those like small association, unwell known, etc. So we provide all the capacity building needed for the small grassroots groups.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying and sharing that. You know, leadership is such a high stakes work, and it carries a lot of weight. How do you stay grounded when you're feeling burdened and feeling heavy?
When I feel happy, it's a great, and I feel I'm carrying this burden for years and years, and I will stay carrying it for maybe until the end of my life. And sometimes I feel that, okay, I'm not able anymore to do it. It's too much responsibility. It's too much burnout. But suddenly, like just in a small achievement, a call from a mother of disappeared, like a message from someone, give me another motive. And people around me, like friends or my team or my family, say that I really have this impact. And at least when I just speak to people who are suffering, they feel relief. So it's like, it's a great motto that I will not stop doing it with all the challenges I'm living in.
Yeah. So what I hear you saying is what keeps you going is you remember, or you may get a call or someone, all the work that you're doing, and that it matters and it's making an impact, and that just gives you that extra juice. I'm sure that applies to many of us in all of different paths that we've taken in the world, and those of us that especially following our passion, that it can get heavy at times, but when it does, just remember the why behind what you're doing. Yeah, that's special. So, Noura, what's your message to women listening today who want to lead with courage, even when the cost feels really, really high?
First of all, I would start by saying that life is not easy, and like big causes need a patience, need a long journey, and a lot of sacrifices. All the, let's say, the rights that we have today as women, as people from certain communities, we got these rights because of the fight of former fighters could like bring us those rights. So now we are fighting, and each one of us fight for a cause, even if like small or like in small circles. But our fight today will give and protect the rights of the next generation. So it's a big role that we are playing. And if we don't suffer, so we'll not be able to feel the suffering of others. So we'll not be able to help or to change. So let's just switch the way of our thinking of it. Instead of being sad and disappointed, let's be grateful to this suffering, because it makes us humans that fight for the sake of others. Let's see ourselves as survivors, not victims.
I love it. I love it. Let's see ourselves as survivors and not victims. And we're not only fighting for our rights, but we're fighting for the future rights of a women, and we're also honoring the fight that took place to get us to the place that we are today. So what's next for you and for NoPhotoZone?
We are still continuing our work, which is more needed now, but more difficult, like under the new authority in Syria, which is for me actually very frustrating, because we all know the background of this authority, and unfortunately the international community is very satisfied, and this is shocking. We still have human rights violations, so we work on the file of violations that committed by the former regime. And unfortunately, there is still violations like torture, forcibly disappearance, which is our area of work, that still are committed by this new authority. We still provide all the needed legal services for our beneficiaries. We still provide rehabilitation for the victims of torture. The fund issues is the most challenging, because we extend our work. Our work has a long-term nature, so we cannot stop our services suddenly because there is no fund. We should continue, and we continue even without fund. Have a great team. So with this challenging, we're suffering on personal level, because we have our needs. We should pay the rent, we should eat, we should drink. Most of us, we have no other financial resource than working in NoPhotoZone. But I'm very proud and grateful that, even without fund, we are still continuing, and we will continue, because it's a cause for us.
That is so amazing. Even without funding, the work still goes on. But we would love it if you had the funding. So how can listeners or viewers support and amplify your work?
This is a big question, but when sometimes I transmit messages by non-Syrian people who bring messages or say messages to those women or victims, they feel really motivated and inspired that, there is people that they don't know from other contexts, from other countries, that they support them. But also, the listeners could donate on the website of NoPhotoZone. As in US, you all could push for having fund for the issues of the rule of law in Syria, for the victims of torture and forcibly disappearance, and for transitional justice as well.
Yes. For our listeners and viewers, you heard that, and you can go visit her website, NoPhotoZone. Noura, thank you so much for taking the time to connect with me, find me, put me in your schedule, giving me this opportunity to speak to you. I really appreciate it. So, Noura reminds us that leadership is not a title, it's a choice. And you heard her say she didn't plan this. The circumstances led her to it. But her courage, her compassion, and commitment to others show the extraordinary impact of one woman who's willing to turn pain into purpose. And I also want to pause here to say something personal. So out of thousands of podcasts, she could have chosen on Speaker Hub, where she found me at, Noura reached out to this one. And I am deeply humbled and honored to be, the second podcast show that she's been on to share a story. And that says something about trust and alignment and the power of creating spaces for voices that matter. So to learn more or support her work, Again, you can visit nouraghazi.org. You can also find her No Photo Zone by doing a Google search. I also saw that you have a Wikipedia page. Lots of information for those who've never heard of her. I encourage you to go read up on a fascinating story. So if this conversation inspired you, we want you to share it with other women leaders. This also is a way you can support the work that Noura and her organization is doing. So thank you, Noura, for showing us what future service looks like and for choosing to share your journey here. Until next time, I'm Rhoda Banks, and this is Breakthrough Conversations with Rhoda and Company.
Hey, what's your secret? You got the kind of vibe that leaves me speechless. It could be model multitasking genius. Yeah, you got it all. Hey, what's your story? A kick-ass mom and 40 under 40. A soccer practice in your high heel glory. Yeah, you do it all.